Today, we'll bring a story about water, the most important thing in human beings' life.
Water, what does it mean to you? Can you imagine the life without water? Do you know where it comes from, where it goes? Water is the gift of nature, and the origin of our civilization. From the field to the table, it is our companion and provider. We can't live without it, but we sacrifice it for rapid development. Over time, our water has become stagnant, foul, and dead. While many people are blind, this is always on our mind. So, we creatively came up with the Fight Refine project to improve the aquatic environment in China.
Na'zhou, a village with a population of more than 1,700 people, was left behind at the step of modernization, but reached the source of Zhuhai's mother river, Naxi. The village of 4 square kilometers was scattered with over 300 pig farms, with the pollutants discharged regularly. The river and the nearby environment was severely polluted. The villagers deeply worry about this deteriorating situation, but could do nothing about it.
We met one of the local villagers, Miss Wu, in 2010. She told us that Naxi River used to be very lucid, and its water was useful for the daily life and production. However, since these pig farms had to remain in the village, the water was no longer pristine. The nitrogen, phosphorus, and other pollutants severely exceed the normal standard in the river. The water quality of Naxi River was radically altered into inferior to grade 5, which cannot be utilized.
Worse still, there was no sufficient plain water for villagers to irrigate crops, because infrastructure facilities in this area were imperfect, and the villagers had to use polluted water all year round. This caused the problem of poor fertility of field, which made crop production decrease by 70% in the 6,667 square meters farmland. The annual income of this villager was merely 20,952 yuan, which was 42% lower than Zhuhai's per capita income.
In 2011, we carried out Fight Refine to solve the situation in Na'zhou, and this project is divided into 3 phases.
Phase 1, food for web purification model. We spent 3 months in consulting loss rate reference and analyzing the compositions of pollutants and hydrological characteristics of Naxi River. We surprisingly found that the pollutants of the river are mainly composed of nitrogen and phosphorus. And these kinds of substances have contained important nutrients to the growth of aquatic plants. So we wonder if it's possible to grow aquatic plants in the river, which can be purified to clean water. What's more, we also found that their petals can be raw material for essential oil. Concerning all the ideas mentioned above, we thereby creatively put forward a scheme of aquatic plants to purify Naxi River.
That is to guide local villagers to grow water-purifying plants in a composite mold. The principle of this method is to have these plants, during the process of metabolism, to resolve and digest those pollutants with their roots to restore the water body. On studying and testing the business value, we found that there was huge market demand for these plants, as they could be processed to produce hydrolats and natural essential oil. Therefore, villagers can harvest and sell these plants to achieve their influx of capital. By this logic, using this method can sustainably deal with the river pollution and improve the village's life.
In June 2011, we started to revise our project scheme and verify its feasibility.
Firstly, consider reducing the over-contamination of nitrogen and phosphorus in water. We selected 8 out of 100 kinds of native aquatic plants to resolve these pollutants.
Secondly, guided by academic advisors, we decided to trial the composite mold of plant purification experiments at Yuehua Dai, which was also assessed by water pollution. According to the result of this trial, we further stepped forward by choosing plans more effective and appropriate. After a long period of experimenting, we ventured to confirm the scheme with the base on ginger lily, canna, calamus, irisus and other 4 kinds of plants. Besides, we sent a water sample from Yuehua Dai to do the test in bioengineering lab in our campus.
The result is gratifying. Our purification scheme has reduced the total count of nitrogens, phosphorus, and COD respectively by 28%, 34%, and 20%. As a result, the water quality of Yuehua Dai has been evidently improved, which successfully verified the feasibility of our idea. So we move forward into step 2. Carried out purification model.
The success of Yuehua Dai motivated us to conduct this practice in Na'zhou. However, without regulations on the sewage of pig farms, our project can hardly work.
So we reported the situation to the Zhuhai Riverway Bureau and submitted our water purification scheme, aiming to foster supervision and put our project on schedule.
Our project was sanctioned by the Bureau, and we got the permission to use Nashi River. 6 months later, over 90% of the pig farms were evacuated by the government to prevent the river from deterioration.
In March 2012, we encouraged villagers to participate in our project, but no one joined us because they worry about the risk of our project.
With regard to this situation, we managed to reassure the villagers by setting up the Green Fund, which encourages people to buy sprouts planted in Nashi River with credentials. Up to the maturity of these plants, buyers can prepare their own plants with credentials. This action has earned widespread responses, raising 2,719 yuan for the first term of the fund. Under the support of the Green Fund, villager Ms. Wu, Ms. Wang, and Mr. Oh took part in our project.
In addition, we printed details of this purification project as brochures to help the villagers understand what purified plants are. Together with our target audience, we observed and chose the riverways which has porous soil and proper water depths for planting.
During the planting, we had volunteers to help our target audience. Many villagers who passed by were attracted and impressed. With all the efforts we made, more and more villagers joined us, including 42 children along with their parents, so as to inspire them to inherit the awareness of protecting water resources. We awarded credentials to those children.
Step 3. Commercialization operation. After 22 months water purifying, we took some water assembled and sent it to Jianhe Water Quality Evaluation Company. The testing report shows a favorable result that the water conditions has been improved from inferior grade 5 to usable grade 3, which is available for irrigation. Meanwhile, we also stepped forward into developing the venture of our project.
We thoroughly studied the plants we chose and learned that ginger lily's petal had high commercial value, as it could be the raw material of hydrolyzed natural essential oil. Ginger lily smells wonderfully aromatic that its product could help to ease nerves and peace minds. By selling these ginger lilies, villagers had made profits of 3 yuan for each plant in each term.
In April 2013, we carried out research about essential oil producing factories in the Pearl River Delta region, and we found that patents of ginger lily were largely limited. With the sales of essential oil products boosting, the usage of these materials goes up to 139 tons every year, and it shows an increasing trend.
Thus, we started off with developing business contacts between Ms. Wu and the processing factories.
To assure the commercialization of our project, we made 4 steps to build up the business chain. First, stable output and enhanced productivity.
In order to raise the productivity and minimize the cost, we conducted a survey, and a pretty sprout supplied by Zhongshan Lizi Gardening Company was finally chosen among the 8 sprout suppliers. For one thing, it has strong adaptability to severe environment, and for another, its growth rate is 20% higher than others. In addition, we divided this plant to generate more, hence doubling our purification scale.
Second, look for long-term cooperation.
With the plantation stabilized, we contacted Mr. Wu, the director of the Tariff Cosmetics Company in Huizhou. He was then looking for long-term cooperators in Pearl River Delta who could supply raw petals window.
Third, apply the form of sale to order to inspire villagers.
We introduced a new form of contract farming to villagers, linking them directly to processors and help them to make profits by adjusting the scales of flowers planting according to demand. In this way, villagers are encouraged. They can price petals, certify quality, do clearing, and gain income in one day.
Fourth, business use training.
The last step, for the better operation on the village's own language school, we managed to teach them certain business skills, such as project risk response and management, business and pricing negotiation. Moreover, we help them keep themselves with up-to-date market conditions so that they can be in a good position to negotiate pricing.
After these 4 steps, Ms. Wu and other 2 farmers set up long-term cooperation with Tariff. So far, they have sold out all the flowers of the first period from May to November and made extra income, which fulfilled the goal of sustaining this river purification project. Ms. Wu and other villagers can install plants to purify Naxi River and sell the materials of mature plants to processor, thus generating new perspective of environmental benefits and economic values to the whole village.
This is just the beginning. In order to extend our hands to more areas in need, in January this year, we participate in the Chinese Entrepreneurship Model Competition hosted by CCTV2 and share the idea of our project.
In this competition, our project gained approval and support from the judges.
OK， 好，对，而且是个人合作。
好，谢谢龙总。
因为我觉得他是在校生，因为我觉得最让我感动的是他们能够有一种环保意识，我觉得这是最重要的。做一个这样的项目选择，我觉得是有价值的啊，所以我愿意我自己去进行体验，但是同时也希望能够成功。
Up to April 2014, our target audiences, Ms. Wu, Ms. Wang, and Mr. O, have individually begun the composing mode of plants purification in Naxi River.
A 600-meter-long purification ban has been set up along the river. Over 12,000 plants cultivated.
The report provided by the nation-authorized product quality evaluation company Zhuhai He shows that the water in the river is improved from grade 5 to 3, which can be satisfied for irrigation. As the water quality was enhanced, the farmland was restored productive. Its production has been raised by 20% and the village's incomes also by 51%, which is from 20,952 to 31,654 yuan.
The villagers have gone into partnership with Terrific Cosmetics Company. The sales successfully reached 59,226 yuan, which brought 10,702 yuan annually to each villager.
The model and idea of our project has popularized on society and enhanced people's awareness of protecting water through the media such as the CCTV2, the China Environment, and the Nandong Network, etc. Villagers in Nazhou have strengthened the sense of belonging, which firms the pursuit of a livable and harmonious community. Now, let's listen to these villagers.
107,500 plants have been cultivated, covering 900 meters and 4,315 square meters, and achieving 530,568 yuan economic value.
支持第二支城項目組將淨化空屋引進嘅拿州村，呢個項目改變拿州村的水質，改善村民嘅生活。我哋未來會 多次跟第二之前進行多次合作嘅。
And looking back on this project, what makes us persevere in our goal of water cleaning? What makes us insist on helping these villagers? During the last several decades in China, the entire society has focused on the development and construction of the economy. However, we have paid dearly to this development with our environment and ecology. Water, which we are dependent on, has suffered the most. In our nation, we have almost 680,000 villages whose living conditions mirror Nanzhou.
We refuse to see pollution and poverty distress villagers.
We refuse to sacrifice our home and booming economy.
We refuse to ignore the water conservation anymore.
By conveying consciousness of protecting water, by creating commercial values out of this project, by all the efforts we've made, we will bring this purification to more villages in need. So we went even another step further to extend the concept of enactors. This year, we have 74 members.
5 projects,
A government department, 15 business partners,
1,743